Trappe Isid'or.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. I have got one here from Trappe, or the Koningshoeveng, or de Koningshoeveng Brewery, if you want to give it its true term. These are a really good brewery. They're not from Belgium, funny enough. They are from the Netherlands. And I've tried most of their stuff, and I think I tried their quad the other night. Jesus Christ, I shouldn't have done that. That was a bit full on. That was. This stuff, I think, is the only outstanding one. I could be wrong, but I think it's the only outstanding one I haven't tried from this lot. But it's quite a special one. It was first brewed in 2009 to celebrate the centenary of when they first started brewing in the de Koningshoeveng Brewery. That was in 1884. They did that in 2009. But it's called Isid'or to commemorate the first head brewer, whose name was Isidorus Labert. He is considered the founding father of the Trappe or de Koningshoeveng Brewery, whatever you want to call it. And I quite like their stuff. They do some really, really good Belgian-style Abbey ales. I've tried the double, I've tried the quad, tried that the other night. That was really good. The blonde, and I've tried the triple as well. All really good beers. So I have got very high hopes for this, and it promises to be quite a good one. So I just want to stop gassing and get this down my fat Gregory. So let's investigate this beer. Right, this is 7.5%. It is classed as a Belgian Abbey Ale. It is a 330ml bottle, and it contains glucose syrup. Now, normally that would ring huge alarm bells with me, but that is quite common in Belgian beer. It's either that, glucose syrup, or the candy sugar. Now, candy sugar, of course, is like a caramelised, unrefined sugar, if you like. It's like sugar beet, and it's quite prevalent in Belgian beer. Most brewers use it. The ones that don't, they use glucose syrup. It basically does the same thing. It ferments in the bottle, and it makes the bottle conditioning happen because they add yeast to it, and of course that feeds on it and creates more carbon dioxide. Hence the reason Belgian beers are quite fizzy or quite carbonated, and they taste quite sweet. It's due to that. That is a characteristic of what it is. The IBUs on this are 27, and they're sort of in the lager style region. You know, if you're looking at sort of 22 to 27, that's the IBUs you'd normally get on a lager. Anything more, and you're going into like sort of IPA territory, and anything over 45, and you're just West Coast IPA. But that's what it is. It's 27. That's what they rate it as anyway. It just contains the usual hops, malt, yeast, and water, and of course the glucose sugar, as I just mentioned. Really, that's all I can tell you about it. Let's get it open. Let's see what's going on. I've just reviewed the Old IPA from Brewdog, and I drank a bit of it, and I poured the rest into a spaghetti bolognese, which is cooking down there, and I know the Italians will be going fucking mental because they want you to use wine in it, but I'm fucked if I'm using wine. Wine is not right.
And tip 4, men don't order wine, alright?
I don't even use it in their cooking. Not in this house, I won't have it. Fuck off. There's the cap. It's got an eye on it for Isidorus, the old head brewer. Let's get this into a glass, see what is going on. Now, as I said, you're always going to get this sort of carbonation on Belgian beers. You've probably seen them all in my reviews. If you've seen the other reviews, if you haven't, if this is the first review, this is entirely normal. That is what it looks like. Doesn't mention that it's bottle conditioned, but I'm just going on the assumption that it is because of that carbonation and the ingredients as well. Usually they are. They don't even make a big thing about it being bottle conditioned. Certainly not like they do over here. Now that looks really nice. That really does look like a nice ale. What are we getting on the nose? Wow. I'll tell you what we're getting on the nose. We're getting fucking foam. Wow. Smells really sweet. It's like sweet banana, almost like a bubblegum ester that you get off a decent Bavarian Weizen, or Weiss beer, to give it its correct term. But it smells typically Belgian. It's dominated by that banana and clove and the slight fruit notes that you get on there, but it's sort of, as I say, it's all about the sweet yeasty esters at the moment and that glucose sugar. But looks quite interesting. There's old matey. He looks happy chappy, doesn't he? Fucking hell. State of the geezer. I think he'd been dipping into the beer to look like that. He looks like Father Jack with a skinhead.
I love my break.
Anyway, enough about that. Let's get this down the hatch. Your good health. Oh, that's really nice. Cool. That is the first thing that hit me on that was the superb mouthfeel. Now you think with all that carbonation it'd be bouncing around in your mouth like space dust. Super smooth with just the merest suggestion of carbonation in that. It's really nice. But then straight after it, you're just hit by that wall of ethanol, and it's big, believe me, and it's 7.5%. That's what you should sort of be expecting, but that's warming all the way down. Then you get in the sweetness, and the sweetness on this is massive. It really is big. It's a combination of sweet banana, sweet dried fruit, like light fruit, I'd say, like you know, orange, sweet orange, little bit. Well, is there? I'm getting it like a sweet style vanilla. Now that could be mistaking that for, you know, the banana esters, but they're big in there. The sweetness in that. The finish. There's a little hint of malt, of caramel malt, but it's not big at the moment. But it's really, really smooth. That is superb. And I've got this at the right temperature. This, they reckon it's about sort of 10, 12 degrees. And I've pulled it out of the fridge and I've let it stand for a while. And I'm getting all the flavours in abundance. It's quite complex. You've really got to think about what you're drinking in this. Yeah, on the arse end, you do get sweet caramel malt, but there is a slight hot bitterness to that as well. And it is a hot bitterness, like that, you know, them hops must have gone in with the boil to release all them alpha acids. There's not much of it, but you can just get it on the finish. You have to dig deep, as I say. But overall, this is really nice. The mouthfeel, I have to say, is absolutely superb. It goes down like velvet. there's no harsh aftertaste either with this. If you're drinking this, I think if this is your first time drinking a Belgian, I'd say this is, even though it's 7.5%, it's reminiscent of a double, in my opinion. They don't say it's a double. I can't see it written on here. Mind you, I've got eyes like Mr. Magoo, so
I'll remember that.
I could be mistaken, but that's what it's reminding me of. A real nice, sweet style double. Mouthfeel on it just makes it for me. That is absolutely superb. Probably one of the smoothest Belgian beers, and sometimes you have to wait or you have to swirl it around to get rid of the aggressive carbonation that you normally find in some of these Belgian beers. This, from the get-go, is super smooth, and you can just get, as I say, very, very subtle carbonation, but it's doing the job. You get the flavours all in the mouth and all that. It's really nice. There's a nice mix on the end of the ethanol, the hot bitterness, and a touch of sweetness, and it all sort of mingles together, and then you get your caramel malt. That is really nice, and I'll tell you something, that is a very fitting beer to commemorate the head brewer. That really is one of their best, I have to say. And I've tried all the others. The quadruple is it's just quad. It's full on flavour. It's a little bit extreme. Mind you saying that, I did have a few, so that might have had something to do with it. But this, I have to say, is a really good, fitting tribute to old Isidorus. So what's the verdict on Isid'or? Yeah, I really like it, and I'm going to go as far as to say that's probably one of my favourite La Trappe beers, if not the favourite. It really does taste nice, and I like the subtle flavours, but what does it for me is the mouthfeel. It is so smooth, the carbonation is subtle. If only all Belgian beer had that. Sometimes I drink a Belgian beer, and I'm not knocking them because this is what it does, especially when you have this fermentation in the bottle. You'll drink like a double or a triple, and as I say, it'll be like space dust going off in your mouth, and you have to swirl it around to sort of kill the carbonation a bit. I do anyway. I don't like that really aggressive carbonation. Some people do. They say that it pushes the flavour around and all that, which it does. Carbonation does do that. Sometimes I find it interferes though. If it's really, really aggressive, you're just fighting against it. So you have to sort of swirl it around, create a little bit of a head, and get the carbonation to calm down. But out the bottle, that is superb, and combined with them flavours, I think that is probably the best beer from La Trappe, and they're good. Believe me, they do some really good ones. And coming from the Netherlands as well, they're not a native Belgian Trappist or Abbey style brewer, if you like, which is I think is great. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because I have tasted better. But this was surprising. I really wasn't expecting that much. I knew it was going to be good. I didn't think it was going to be that good. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10. I think that's a fair mark. It's a solid 9.5 out of 10. I definitely recommend this. If you're going to try a La Trappe beer, all their beers are good, but I'd suggest you try this if you're going to buy one of them. This is probably the best one they do, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And you know what they say about opinions? Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got one, but you generally don't want to hear it. And remember, beer is working class champagne.